Welcome to the new episode of the Wellness Podcast. In this episode, the guest is Dia, who is a counselor psychologist and also running a prior practice. And we discussed about Gen Z problems. I am also a Gen Z, but with beard, I don't look a Gen Z, but I am. And she's also a Gen Z, coming from nearly same age bracket. We discussed the challenges that Gen Z used to face. Plus, there are a lot of terms we used to say very randomly, like we are feeling depressed, we are feeling anxious, we are feeling chaotic. But that's not very normal in terms of terminology. In this episode, we discussed into the roots of the challenges that psychologists use to cater to the Gen Z clients. So, if you're a Gen Z, if you face mental health challenges, then this episode is for you.
Hey Dia, how are you doing?
Hey Shank, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. So I was just reading a book, Ego is the Enemy, and just got a reference of multiple situation that was driven by founders, entrepreneurs, and leaders. It was a chapter about leadership. And then I realized in many uh, professions, when people are entering, especially in their early 20s, they are figuring things out. And even I am in my early 20s. I used to feel this every day while talking to my friends that many people feel that they are stuck somewhere, or they need to figure everything out, or they need to figure each and everything, including finance, family, and a lot of things, because they know that multiple things are coming down the line. For example, uh, you have to make a family of your own now, you have to buy a car, you have to buy a house. So when we talk about early 20s, uh, what do you think? Do we really need to figure everything out? And जो कहते हैं ना कि uh, आगे बढ़ना चाहता हूँ और बस रुकना नहीं चाहता. So how it is it for real? And many people don't personally check their health into this. So what do you want to convey to it?
Very rightly said, Shank. And I'm really glad that you read that book actually. I've heard a lot about it myself as well. I would really like to say that people in their 20s, I think it's because of a lot of expectations or even from society, parents, and there's a lot of load put into people in their 20s. And I've also felt that I'm myself in my mid 20s, so I do really, I am in their boat precisely. Uh, but I would just like to say that yes, it can get very overwhelming, especially, having to assert yourself and carve out your path as per your own terms. That is very difficult in today's times. That's for sure. Yeah.
Right. So do we really need to figure everything out?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I'm not going to give a fixed answer, but I'm just going to say that a reflective statement that do you want to go ahead and get sunk and under the pressure that's on you, right? To go ahead and uh, not let other people uh, have not be able to cope with these things and uh, having to put these even if dreams is something that everybody wants, of course, but who are other people to tell you that okay, you're supposed to achieve it by this age or even in your 20s for that matter, right? So you have to ask yourself ultimately that do you really want to figure it out in your 20s, because is there life as well after your 20s? Definitely there is, right? So that, yeah.
So I personally think it's majorly upon family and benchmarks. So many uh, people usually set a benchmark for themselves. For example, when I was in 11th class, there is a guy who came up to me while playing cricket, and he stated that भाई मैं तो कोचिंग कर रहा हूँ IIT की and like okay. And he left the school. He did a dummy school. He was not coming to school full time. He was going to a classroom of coaches. He was taking coaching at that time full time, nearly 9 to 5, 9 to 6. And he was living nearby that coaching center. And he just came up to me and also stated that कि भाई तू 11th क्लास में स्कूल जा रहा है मैं कोचिंग कर रहा है. He started comparing and I stated भाई I'm enjoying my school life. That's all. And he stated तुम एंजॉय करोगे अभी 2 साल हम एंजॉय करेंगे आगे 20 साल. So he was majorly communicating that for 2 years he's hustling. After that, nearly 20, 30 years of his life is very peaceful. That's something that I believe it was parenthood that came and he got it from his parents that hey अभी कर ले फिर उसके बाद तो मजे ही मजे हैं 10th कर ले मजे ही मजे हैं 12th कर ले मजे ही मजे हैं. And after nearly a year of drop Esther, he was not able to make it. He went to a similar private college nearly 1 year later of our batch. And his same, nearly same as package that nearly everybody were from our batch. Nothing unique. Everybody was nearly were in the same bracket from our batch at that time. So when we talk about today, we are nearly living the same thing, nearly feeling the same belief system, uh, doing the same things, doing the majority of the similar things, but that benchmark setting came through parenthood. What do you want to say about it? Plus, what do you believe how milestone that is kept by family or society also pressurize people in their early 20s? And what is the impact on mental health?
Thank you for sharing that. I think that is really the need of the hour to talk about these things openly, actually. And what I've observed is that in our parents' generation, they had those benchmarks. And because at that time also there was no competition, I think things were quite simpler and easier, right? As compared to now, it's become so complicated. There's so much competition. The population is so much, it's crazy. So now I think parents sometimes, with all due respect, of course, I get where they're coming from, but I also, they just haven't really probably observed that times have changed now, and what used to work then is not going to work now. So, uh, especially, if you see people in India versus in America, life is very different, right? The economy is also worse here, and then there also now it's not so great, but as compared to India, trust me, it's better. So people do actually settle down at an earlier age in their 20s, but I think people really miss that fact that in India it's harder to settle at an earlier age because of all these factors. So I really like to say there's this huge generation gap for sure, and how we're just missing out on these little pointers, which is leading to not being able to settle in our 20s. But one more thing I also wanted to point out is that why do we feel this need, to settle down as soon as possible? Like, just think about it. Imagine if we even if we settle down, right? So you may regret it later, that, oh no, I wish I explored more options, right? Why was I in such a rush to have everything, you know, within this 10 years or in this decade? That's something to really think about, right?
Right, plus, um, do you think people in their 20s are in their rat race? Do you think like that?
Definitely, yes, yes. Hundred times, yes, I would say, because I see that people who they compare their lives or through Instagram, they see someone's highlight reel, and maybe you are on your step one, but probably that person is on their step 6 or 7, right? You're just not, seeing that. You're just comparing based on what you're seeing, what they're showcasing, but you don't know when what
Hmm.
is actually happening in real life. Are they truly also happy with their decisions? Are they truly happy, right, with what they wanted as well? Did it actually work around, right? So this is so much of algorithm and these unrealistic uh, showcasing on Instagram that is really put that stress even more actually in our generation.
Right. And we also feel very pressurized, what I think, when we enter in early 20s. Plus, when I talk to majority of the people who are in their late 20s, they used to communicate that uh, 25, nearly 25 is the age you need to start figuring things out. 20 to 25, you can explore. 25 to 30 age, you may get opportunities that can help you settle. Because if you look at the biological clock, it's good to marry a nearly 27 between 30 in this age bracket. So this is the advice that I got frequently from people who are into their late 20s. So that's societal. That's biological and societal. But what its compulsion plus effects that happens in brains. So, for example, if somebody wants to uh, live their life as single throughout their life, they're forcefully getting into marrying because of peer pressures. What do you think? What is the impact that they face, especially as a mental health issue?
Yeah, this is something that is very important definitely to discuss actually. Having to do based on what other people want for us, or based on what society expects of us, and I really observe that all our
Right.
life we live to please other people. Always there's a lot of people pleasing, there's a lot of thinking what other people want, but what would you want? Are you happy, right, with getting into a relationship or getting married by that age, right? uh, so really, I mean, I know it is difficult, of course, to take a stand for yourself, but you got to start somewhere, right? And the pointer that you mentioned about uh, the biological clock. Well,
Hmm.
there are other alternatives too. I mean, people are freezing their eggs. Women can do that as well. Things have
Hmm.
become so modern. And I've seen people who are actually now on the flip side to breaking these stereotypes. I've seen they get married even at the age of like 30, 32
Right.
as well. So there are people who are also doing that, and that's really commendable and that's great. And I feel more and more people would want to and should do that as well if they want, of course.
Right, and that's a good side as well. People are now accepting things and they are taking their time. It's not like it's something compulsory that you have to get married by 27. Anyhow, it's not like that. You have to now be open to push that age and make it work. So, as a psychologist, um, what do you think that this generation that is currently in their 20s, like from early 20s to late 20s, majority of them are Gen Zs that are coming up. So, what do you think? What are the most common well-being issues or well-being topics that they are raising? It can be relationship that I personally feel because nowadays situationships and a lot of other type of relationships have been produced, but that's my personal guess. Apart from that, or what do you want to say about situationship kind of? uh, trends as well. So, what do you think? What kind of well-being issues this generation is facing?
Well, I would really like to say about that there's a lot of fear built in this generation for sure. And I've also witnessed that as well in the past, but I'm slowly learning how to just break free from all of that. Uh, Whenever there's a lot of ambiguity, whenever there's a lot of like unknown things happening, whether it be in a relationship, where is it going, or even about the future, will I succeed, right? So that is something that really makes people be in that fight or flight mode, right? Because the brain is actually made in that way, which in which they, if there's any ambiguity, so it will search for a threat, right?
Hmm.
The threat mode will get activated. So that's something which, of course, we need to rewire our brain. There's another aspect to that, learning how to rewire what we say to ourselves, and that time actually matters a lot. But this is some one thing for sure is that there's a lot of fear, and
Mm-hmm.
there's always this need to control everything,
Right.
I like, even if it's saying starting a new initiative, right? Having to, why isn't this working out right now? I started this,
Hmm.
it's such a good initiative, right? But why isn't this working out, right? So but still, things that you start also, they take time. So I think this generation also does not have that patience to wait and be consistent and all of that. They want immediate gratification.
And I believe there is also a fact that many companies are now producing short form content or things that are getting very habitual. For example, boba tea, or like some, if I want to ask um, a barista to give me a normal chai in a fancy restaurant or fancy cafe, they will ask me what kind of boba bubbles I need, what flavor. I don't want it. But multiple chains of cafes have that compulsory. They don't provide chai without that. And that boba tea have a lot of sugar in it. Something similar with the snacks. Each and every snack that I get in Starbucks, I personally believe it's very high on sugar. So that's one thing. So uh, dopamine hikes plus you can say the short form content habits, sugar spikes, these kind of things already create an ecosystem that throws you towards an instant gratification. So if somebody needs instant hit of happiness, they can go to Starbucks and get a cookie plus a normal, you can say, cappuccino also. If something like this is going on, you won't have that patience. You won't uh, believe that something will work out in a longer span. Something same goes to reading habits. People are not reading nowadays. They're not reading newspapers. They are taking information through thumbnails of the YouTube videos. So when I talk to people regarding geopolitics, especially people in their 20s, they used to just throw random things. Ki, XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. That usually just appears on YouTube video thumbnail or big headlines. They don't go into details at all because they don't have that patience to go through that. So when we are living in this generation who have this kind of impact, who lives in the ecosystem that requires and pulls you down for instant gratification, what do you think it will turn out to the mental health crisis? I personally think it's something known as mental health epidemic. Many people will go towards a lot of stress, anxiety. What's your opinion on it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, mobile phones is something to be blamed. For sure now. Everything is just by one click, everything can happen. Okay, fine. Whatever you want right now, you'll get everything. So I think it starts from there. That's when the whole immediate gratification is like flooding in other aspects of their life as well. Like you mentioned about reading and even like newspaper and things, other things as well. They want everything right now. So,
Hmm.
very rightly said, there is a mental health epidemic. And s- although one thing I would really like to point out is that uh, mental health is slowly, its importance is slowly increasing. That's for sure. I think, especially when COVID happened. So, and that's something which I'm very, very glad to see as a psychologist. It's more and more people are actually reaching out to seek help.
Hmm.
There's just one thing that people still want is a quick fix and solution right now, right? I've seen the huge myths pertaining around that, around therapy. Oh no. Like one the other day, just I got this client said, "Oh, I want a solution right now," and it was a 15-minute consultation call, and he was saying that, "Oh, I want a solution like right now in these 15 minutes because it's just getting a lot for me." I said, "Yeah, yeah, I understand. Of course, that is hard, but
Hmm.
I can't give you a solution because I'm not here to give you a solution, right? I mean, a solution is there within you. I'm just going to guide you, right? Uh, so I think what I mean to say is that there's a lot of myths as well, though, when it comes to therapy, as well. Yeah.
So, looking at that, when you stated about the quick fixes, what I personally feel, um, women don't have that quick fixes, very less. But majority of the men, when they go for therapy, they are very solution oriented. Majority of the men, when they go to therapy, they focus on solution. That hey, I need solution and I need to fix things up. And that's why men are taking less therapy. What I personally, they're less adaptable to it because they are more solution oriented. They don't realize that it's a long-term process. It will take time. You need to be calm. Men are like, अरे जल्दी solution दो ये खत्म करके आगे बढ़ो दूसरा काम करना है राइट तो अरे कॉलेज जाना है और उसके बाद नौकरी लगनी है बीच में टाइम नहीं मेरे पास मुझे सोल्यूशन दो मैं ठीक करके चल लूँ ठीक है that they run away for a short span or they became quiet as a man I'm saying it so for example something similar for example if somebody is running their own business and they have a family it's very likely that when they come home at 7, 8, or 9 p.m. in the night, they will not talk to anybody for nearly 10, 15 minutes. They will just have a glass of water, sit quietly, don't talk to anybody. If somebody tries to talk, they will not respond really well. After 30, 40 minutes, they will feel like home, and then you can talk to them really calmly. And that's not just because they are that's not because they are feeling something bad or feeling something aggressive. That's majorly because 12 hours straight for a day, their brain was doing analytics, they were taking decisions. There's a decision fatigue that happened at that particular time slot. They try to feel calm, they try to reset their brain. And that's when um, something happens, and it's better to take a break at that time. And usually, when something happens, especially into well-being or mental health, that particular 12 hours or 10 hours brain work get disrupted. That's majority of the men want to fix. That hey, just fix my daily routine, just fix my day-to-day task. In therapy, they try to seek it. That's why majority of the smokers, majority of the alcohol consumers are men because they try to escape it and think that by coming back, I will just make it work. So what do you want to convey to this? Like, is it something that you also feel like you also analyze it? Or what usually in your clientele men concerns are?
Uh, well, Shank, it was a very valid point, but I feel like we're generalizing a little bit, right? Uh, I do also observe some men who genuinely also want that long-term not I won't say solution, long-term.
I'm not saying it every man because I personally took therapy and I also still take therapy and go for therapy. It's been nearly 4 years lovely journey for me for nearly regular therapy now. So I personally take therapy. I'm not against it. That men don't take it, men take it. But yeah, that's what I personally feel that many men usually go for a short-term solution. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Continue.
No, no, that's okay. No worries. Of course, that's really great that you are also taking therapy. That's good. It's I don't want to make therapy as like okay, no, you as a compulsion that okay, you have to take therapy, otherwise you can't do anything in life. I'm not going to say that. Because I really strongly believe that people do have it in them to also figure it out on their own. They just need some time to figure it out. But sometimes if we can't, that's when therapy comes into place. Uh, yes, about men. I think because their brain is also wired like that. They have to, they tend to think in a logical manner, right? It's more prominent in their brain like that. So they also want solutions as well. Uh,
Oh,
and I feel that although there are also men who also have like emotions also in terms of empathy, a lot of it's a good balance between logic and emotions, both of them way together, and it's really really great. More like a feminine and masculine energy both as well. I think men, what I've observed, who also have a balance of those
mm.
pieces, they are more likely to go to therapy. That's something that I you can disagree, but that's something that I've observed. Maybe that's also something that does happen.
Right. Um, Now going towards uh, the majority of 20s are now directed towards building a careers, right? So, for example, people are usually getting job when they're 21 or 22, and they are sticking through that, figuring out in their digital career, known as freshers. They are figuring things out and building their base of the career. Many people in their 20s face midlife crisis. So, what do you want to say about it, and what people should do?
Would you say midlife crisis or quarter life crisis? There is yeah.
So, like even there is an impact of Bollywood films as well, like Dil Dhadakne Do, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara,
Mhm.
Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. So many of my friends as well, and many people in their 20s as well used to question things up now that hey, midlife crisis आ गया. Quarter life crisis कह लो, midlife कह लो, but crisis है.
Mhm.
कुछ तो है crisis, कुछ अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, figure out नहीं हो रहा भाई.
Mhm.
करना चाहते हैं कुछ है, वो कुछ और रहा है. ठीक है.
Mhm.
And what do you want to say about it?
Well, I mean, I think I feel that this happens a lot because when you turn into and become an adult, there's this sudden freedom also that comes, and we feel like, oh my God, I'm alive, I can do anything, I can do everything, and I'm accountable to. But they don't really realize later on till later that oh no, I have to be accountable to my own decisions. It's my life that I have to create. So now I think people don't reach out for help because they
Hmm.
think you, oh, I'm an adult now. And that's something, at least in the beginning, that even I had felt that I'm like, oh, I'm an adult. That means I can't ask anybody for help and that I have to figure it all out on my own. So that is where we're I think all of us are not really going in the right track. That you know what, it's okay to take help. I mean, we all make mistakes, we all grow, But can we grow in the way we want this journey to go? Because then I think that's too much of expectations that we're holding from life. That okay, whatever we want things to figure, work out, even career, relationship, everything, it has to happen the way we want it. But can that happen the way we want all the time? See, it's okay to plan. Okay, maybe keeping it something in mind that okay, maybe of course want this, so I can work towards this. But then I feel that adding that age thing, those the bar, all of that, it just makes it very unrealistic, and that adds a lot of fear. And we start questioning ourselves that even if it doesn't happen by that age, we feel like, but I planned this, and why didn't this happen?
Right. So yeah, we were discussing off camera about Ye Jawani Hai Diwani movie, and even we discussed Ranveer Kapoor as a character. Um, I loved him in Imtiaz Ali movie, like Tamasha or Rockstar. So there was a scene in Tamasha where after uh, the breakup happens, he gets back to the home of Deepika, and he was not reacting that normally, right? Uh, and when Deepika stated that कुछ ऐसा लगता है मुझे कि कुछ मैंने बोल दिया वो अंदर से तुम्हें छिड़ गया या फिर कुछ अंदर हो गया and the way he reacted, the way he stated कि तुझे पता है मेरे बारे में ज्यादा and all and all and all. So his life totally transformed at that particular time. Right. He was doing his 9 to 5 job and now he totally turn around and figuring things out again in his life. So these movies also gives a hope that yes, we need to not just follow the trend or family pressures. We can figure things out of our own. So what do you want to say about these movie impact plus something similar that happens to people in their 20s?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I'm really glad actually that these things are depicted in movies. Like there's another dialogue that Bunny says in Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. Which is like the epitome of 20s, and I'm really like, I think it's good that they showed that. That's actually the opposite of what should happen, which was कि मैं उड़ना चाहता हूँ, दौड़ना चाहता हूँ, गिरना भी चाहता हूँ, बस रुकना नहीं चाहता. So of course it shows, of course, a lot of passion in you and having to go and run behind your dreams. But sometimes it really makes us realize that when we run behind our dreams, it's lovely, it's great to do so, but for that, I mean, you're leaving out people who actually care for you, also people who love you, right? So that is something that also creates things like loneliness, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's this dialogue is like the epitome of 20s right now. And I really feel that it shouldn't be like that, because that's where uh, things really, that's not how life is should be. And I personally feel that's not how life, that's not what life is really about. So
Right, because that's I totally agree with the point of money, and I also want to live my life something very similar to what portrayed in Pijawani Diwani. Everybody wants to, I believe, every man wants to do that, or every human that feels uh, happiness in their 20s are inclined towards it. But I also want to be very open to the circle that we are coming back. We at least need a base. We at least need a ground zero that we came back. Movie when the movie ends, Deepika and Ranveer are now again together, and they are happily together. That's something that creates a base. That's something that he also realized that hey, I want to come back to the family as well. I may need to be back. They need me. Your family needs you. Your friends needs you, and that's one thing that is very helpful, right? So, what do you want to say? Like, people need an emotional system, or just therapy works without an emotional support?
Yes, for sure. It's not just therapy, but it's also we are human beings, right? We need social. We are social beings. We need people there to care for us, to love us in our hardest times. And I feel even another pointer in this generation is that we act very nonchalant all the time, right? But is nonchalant really helping us in life? No, right? Because it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to express what you're feeling, and expressing your needs as well. And that's something that another thing is that our generation is just wanting to suppress all of that and hiding because, again, because of fear. I would say hugely.
Right. So, any last note you want to convey to people who are in their 20s?
Well, I would just like to say that you do not have to have it all figured out in your 20s because there is life after this. So it's okay to go ahead and do what you want to do, focus on your passion, but of course, don't leave behind people who care for you, want to be there for you, family, friends, and even your hobbies for that matter. I feel I myself sometimes I tend to leave my own hobbies. So I just want to say
Hmm.
that do not stop doing things that you love because you are in your 20s only once. So just live it like never before.
Right. So, thanks a lot, Dia, to share your vision and your point of views for uh, people who are in their 20s. And I loved it when somebody in their 20s used to talk about the problems of their 20s, because people who are in 40s or in their teens, uh, teens are going to face it. 40s have already faced it, but they don't know that much about the current scenarios because they
Mm,
need to feel that problems, right? So when somebody who belongs to this age bracket share things up, that really works around.
mm,
Thanks a
yes.
lot, Dia.